Death is really precious, and the cycles of life as well, whether it be the ones that we are moving through personally in our own lives, or whether it be the cycles that we noticing in other people's lives around us. Death is always present. The way that death occurs is really significant. Today I was with my friend and we noticed a dead seagull, and so I just took it to the Y to give it back and said some prayers, some karakia to offer it back to the sea, which I was a bit like, oh, at first when I saw them I was like, oh, I knew that I was gonna have to take them. Which is fine, which is my own journey in terms of, or showed my own resistance to certain cycles. And I feel like Source, or my ancestors, ushered me on here to talk. And so I feel like Source is reminding us how important it is to honor our own cycles of death and the cycles of death that are around us in the with the people we love, and also just the community and wider collective as well. So I feel like a question being posed to us is, what do we do when death occurs? In Western society, it's so difficult to grieve. It's so, and the way that we grieve is very unhealthy, or we don't have a setup to particularly grieve for long enough. And I feel like Source is reminding us that if we need to grieve, I feel like Source is reminding us if we need to grieve for like a certain amount of time, that we should do so, and we should honor the grief, the hurt, the mamai, the pain, the wounds that we feel, to let go of past cycles that are occurring, and also to honor the bloodshed even within the collective that's happening, that has been happening in different places around the world. It's important for us to acknowledge the bloodshed, and acknowledge other people's grief, and acknowledge the fact that it does affect us at the end of the day. And I always think about Indigenous ways of grieving, and how to grieve together is very crucial, because it sends the soul, the spirit of the being off. You know, thinking of this bird, this manu that was lying there by itself, almost asking to be grieved for, and asking to have ceremony done for it. Whatever ceremony we all individually need to do for the different things that have died in our lives, whether it be a certain phase of our life, whether it be a person that has passed away, or whether it be the bloodshed that we are watching over our screens in our privileged positions, or so-called privileged positions. It's important for us to join in with the grief and feel, and I think that that's something that Source has been encouraging a lot of us to do as a collective, is to not numb ourselves. You know, it is really easy to be desensitized, but it's a choice not to numb ourselves, and it's important for us to feel deep into our soul and allow the grief to come out, and for the water to come out, for us to shed tears for certain things that we need to shed tears for. I feel like some of us quite resistant to feeling, resistant, maybe some of us, for some of us, where someone has passed away and we're shutting out the grief. I feel like Source is saying not to do that, to allow yourself to feel all the different cycles of the grief that come up, the grief that comes up, and let it flow, so we can send these souls off on their new journey so that they can heal. And when it comes to ourselves, allowing ourselves to grieve fully and completely, and whatever way that means. You know, grief can be complex. So our souls, our spirits, can move on to the next phase of our life. Where I gave the bird back to, I'm at Blockhouse Bay Reserve, and was looking up the reo name, the te reo name, the Māori name, and it's Amio, which means to roam, which means to roam, means like to go in a circle. And so Source was really highlighting to me the cyclical nature of death, that it is, we cannot avoid it. And to avoid death is to only make ourselves sick in our spirit, in our emotional body, in our mind, and then in turn in our physical body. So I guess the question that Source is posing to all of us, including me, is like, where are we making ourselves sick by not grieving? What do we need to grieve? How can we grieve? What ceremony can we hold for ourselves, for those that have passed, for others? How can we be in support of those that are grieving if we are understanding that it is a collective thing to grieve? You are not meant to grieve alone as well, for those that feel like they're grieving alone. So call in your tupuna, call in your ancestors, and samai whonanum, call in your family, your physical family, your friends, even if it's just one friend. If you're grieving, call them in and ask them to grieve with you. You know, it's not whakama, it's not shame to ask someone, hey, I'm grieving and I need support in this grief, hold this grief with me.